Our clients and my colleague, Kalibala, will communicate to the court.
My Lord, in the light of the ruling delivered a short while ago, we have been instructed by the accused persons to the Constitutional Court. My Lord, the instructions we have emanate out of that ruling and Article 28, Sub-Article 1, and Article 44, Paragraph C. 28, Sub-Article 1, and Article 44, Paragraph C. Of the Constitution. My Lord, the gist of this application is that in these proceedings, an issue requiring interpretation of Article 28(1), 44C, 28(1), and 44C has arisen. My Lord, in its ruling, the court considered that there is presently a complaint pending against it before the Judicial Service Commission. And concluded that the pendency of such a complaint is not a bar to this case proceeding, neither can it be used for recusal. My Lord, the grounds of that petition are for the Judicial Service Commission to determine they are not for determination here, but that complaint was made by A1 and A2. And is seeking the most severe outcome possible against a judicial officer. My Lord, it is seeking the removal of your Lordship. My Lord, in those circumstances, and regardless of the history of the committal proceedings, the applications, and so on, that your Lordship has observed or referred to, the question that remains to be answered is whether this court can continue to be an independent and impartial court within the plain meaning of Article 28, Sub-Article 1. My Lord, bearing in mind that that article cannot be derogated from, the question is whether in its plain meaning a court faced with the circumstances I have just described can be or even seen to be independent and impartial. Particularly for purposes of trying those people who have lodged that complaint. My Lord, the place of the right to fair hearing is a sacrosanct place. We hold it in the highest possible esteem. It is the only thing that stands between absolute tyranny and the rights of an accused person. So, my Lord, there is a question we submit that has arisen in the context of Article 137, (5) of the Constitution. This court is required, we submit, to refer that question. My Lord, permit me to read Article 137, 5. My Lord, it provides that where any question, Article 137, 5, just for completion, when that referral is done, the Constitutional Court's guidance on the interpretation of the Constitution must be waited for, must be awaited before the matter proceeds. But, my Lord, under the two paragraphs that I have cited, paragraph A grants this court a discretion. Paragraph B does not grant such a discretion and is mandatory in its terms. So, my Lord, the way that article is framed, the court, in doing its work, may find an issue and make a reference. But if any of the parties on whose behalf that work is being done asks it to refer, our submission is that the court must refer. And essentially what remains is the framing of the question. My Lord, if the question is referred, and the Constitutional Court agrees that Article 28(1) would be contravened by proceeding in this matter, then the disposal of the matter would be in accordance with that view. On the other hand, insisting to proceed with the matter in view of that question Constitutional Court finds a violation, it would mean that the court is itself complicit in derogating from Article 28, 1 and 44C. So, my Lord, I would, before I sit down, also propose the question. So that we can all be guided in its frame. So, my Lord, my proposal on the question, rather long, is whether the court presided over by a judicial officer against whom a complaint by the accused person in that court seeking removal of that judicial officer from office under Article 144. Under Article 144 of the Constitution, is pending, essentially where the complaint is pending, is an independent and impartial court an independent and impartial court in accordance with the plain and ordinary meaning, in accordance with the plain and ordinary meaning of Article 28(1) and Article 44C and is not a derogation therefrom. My Lord, the question captures the issue that has arisen and the reason why it is now necessary to interpret Article 28(1). And 44C. So, my Lord, it is my humble prayer particularly in view of the mandatory text of Article 137(5)(b), that the question as framed, as proposed, or an agreeable modification of the same be referred to the Constitutional Court. I so pray.
No issue.